Hey, everybody, Rich Groves here. Welcome. I want to welcome you all to the social media live. We're going to be bringing on Josh Wiesler here in just a moment, so bear with me. So, yeah, I apologize about that, folks. We are going to be bringing on Josh Wiesler here in just a second, just a moment. But first, let me give you an introduction. So, we're doing these get to know the speaker sessions live for Gateway to Freedom, which is our real estate investor meetup that is literally just less than a month away. It's November 4th and 5th here in the St. Louis area at South County. It's a very easy place to get to. If you're not from the area, it's easy to get to. If you're from the St. Louis area, I think you know where the Aviator Hotel is, right there at Lindbergh and 55, South Lindbergh and 55. We've got 17 incredible speakers lined up to pour their knowledge and experience into that room of attendees and the people who join us at that event, as well as all of the opportunities to network and make connections and take your business to the next level. My guest today is Josh Wiesler. He is the co-host of this event with me. He is also one of our speakers. And Josh believes that real estate investing is one of the greatest avenues for personal and financial wealth and growth. He owns 3 companies, and in more than 7 years of personal development coaching and 5 years of real estate coaching, Josh has coached hundreds of real estate investors and has a true passion for coaching high-performing real estate professionals to transform their business and personal lives. Josh's own real estate investing experience includes time with a title company. He was with a title company for a while. He's at wholesaling. He's got a rental portfolio that includes an 11-unit apartment building. And Josh is just an amazing guy. He's an amazing human being. And if he wasn't, we wouldn't have him on this live today. We wouldn't have him with us and speaking with us at Gateway to Freedom. So let me bring on Josh Wiesler now. So Josh, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
Sure can, buddy. Sure can.
Sorry.
Yeah. Glad to have you, man. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, well, appreciate it. And, we're all about making this happen. So, figure, I'm lucky to be on kind of both sides, the speaker and the host side, and making this event happen. And it's been an exciting ride, and really excited for, all the buzz and all the people that, I don't know how to quite say it, but all the people that are willing to make this event an amazing event for St. Louis, and all of the people that are going to attend. It's pretty cool to see it happening behind the scenes, and then also, start having an event where we've got massive amounts of talent coming to help and give back to the St. Louis community, real estate and investing community. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is really awesome. So with these sessions, we're kind of we'll give a little sneak peek on what you're going to talk about, but mostly it's trying to let people get to know you. Like, who is Josh Wiesler? Matter of fact, we already have somebody out there, and I apologize. They said they're just showing up here as a Facebook user that they're proud to be a part of this. I'm grateful for our friendship. There you go. It'll show when you go out on Facebook. Yeah, it came from Facebook. So when I go out on Facebook, it'll actually say who actually said that. But right now it just says Facebook user. So awesome. Thanks for that comment. That's awesome. But yeah, so the purpose of these little things we've been doing is kind of get to know you, right? So we're live on Facebook right now, and the different Facebook groups, the Gateway to Freedom Facebook group, the Hootie's House Buyers Club Facebook group, the River City REI Roundtable Facebook group, my own personal Facebook page. We're live on YouTube, on my LinkedIn, as well as Twitter. So we're going live. We're blasting it out, hoping eyeballs see this. And we want to make sure. Oh, and it's David Marks, by the way. David Marks. Thanks, buddy.
I went to Facebook and looked and just saw, David, he's an amazing guy. Yeah, we talk probably once, maybe every other week.
That's awesome.
Every week, and he's just a phenomenal phenomenal business owner. If you guys do give a shout out to David, if you guys, he's also one of our sponsors.
Yep.
Quality Auto Repair in Maryland Heights. If you need your car worked on, there's nobody with more integrity that I would recommend. Your car. So
yeah,
kind of like that.
Our next get to know segments are going to be about the sponsors. We're going to bring on our platinum sponsors and do a get to know section so people know who our sessions, so that people know who our sponsors are, who are these people that are actually promoting this event, helping us put this event on as well. So I can't wait to bring David on for something like that. But we want people to get to know Josh Wiesler today, a little bit. So Josh, I know I gave a little bit of an introduction here at the beginning, but why don't you tell people what made you decide to get into real estate investing?
Oh man. So it was about 20 years ago, I would say. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting, it was late at night. I was living with my ex-wife. So 20 years ago, I was probably 21, 22, something like that. And this story, I saw an infomercial in the middle of the night for a guy that said, hey, you can buy real estate with no money down, and you don't have to use your own money. And like the vision, and now that I'm actually talking about it, it's one of the reasons why I'm so I wanted to see and experience an event like this for a long time. The vision and the dream that was out there, it wasn't the product, it was the vision of being able to change your life, taking you from where you're at to having the life that you want. And they sell it with, there's no money, you can do it with anything that you've got right now, and that is true. Like we bought our 11 unit building, me and my partner bought it seller financing. So like, again, that guy, you guys may have heard of him, Carlton Sheets, back in the day, like that infomercial. Oh man, the hair.
I bought his stuff, man. I bought his stuff.
All this stuff. And so like 20 years later, I'm buying a 11 unit multifamily building because I was helping the guy trying to sell it in the past. And it ended up working out where we ended up buying it no money out of our own pocket, except for, I think we did the numbers. We ended up paying less than $1,000 out of our own pocket to buy this building. And it was for the inspections and it was for the earnest money. And the seller knew us. He trusted us. I had worked with him to try and sell it and it just wasn't working. And he trusted us to take over the payments and do this. And like living that dream that I saw 18, 19, 20 years ago, it took me that long. And it took me, because I've been wholesaling, I've done rehabs, but I never really owned any of my own property. So I've been in real estate one way, shape, or form for 17 years. I think I heard you say I worked for a title company for 3 years. I did project management, worked with another guy that for 3 years making no money. And it was a huge learning lesson and actually cost some people that I know some money. And that's one of those things in our industry, and why I'm so passionate about helping people is because I have had the experience where I lost, 3 years. I could say lost, but really had a 3-year experience where I made no money, and it was difficult and it was painful. And it was, I left the industry for like 3 or 4 years. And that whole time, the whole thing that was in my head, and I go on these tangents, so I don't know if, you can direct me back, Rich.
No, you're good, buddy.
So for me, it was that 3 and 4 year span where I was going through a divorce. I had basically no money. I had a 1-year-old daughter, and the lawyer during the divorce said, hey, you need to go and get some revenue. You need to go and get a job so you have an actual W-2 so that you can pay child support. And so that got me out of the industry and working. And what really hit me, and I don't know if anybody can relate to this, I wasn't doing real estate that time, but the whole time, my whole focus, and it took about 5 years, 6 years, man, I don't remember how long, but it did take. And every day it was, how do I get back into doing what I want to do with real estate? And, now shifting into not just real estate, but also like my real love is coaching and helping other people establish their dreams, do their transformations and their visions. And, even the conversation here, Rich, you're one of the people, like this was the vision for you, was hosting this event and like showing St. Louis something that for us had never been done before and for you had never been done. And that's really like that vision back in the day, Carlton Sheets. And this is why we're doing it. Carlton Sheets, I've never met him. He'll probably never know me, but he catalyzed something in my life that has impacted my life and is now impacting other people's lives.
Yeah.
And that's why this event is so important to me. And that's why this event, I believe there's a piece of you that kind of feels that way too. Like, there's that piece, there's a saying, and I mentioned it the other day and I still haven't looked it up to see exactly what it is. Paraphrasing, it's like, really the ones that serve understand you're going to plant a tree that you're never going to sit underneath. And as like having that perspective, it allows you, talking a little bit about what my presentation is going to be on the 4th, or no, sorry, the 5th, because I'm starting off Sunday. My talk on the 5th is having that vision and being able to tap into that is what is going to help you get through the adversity that you're going to experience in the process of getting there.
Wait, it's not all smooth roads?
It's not, because here's the thing. If it was smooth roads, you'd already have the vision and the dream that you already have. You would be experiencing it, right? So we've got to grow and we've got to expand ourselves and we've got to get bigger than we currently, and not that we're inadequate or there's something missing from us, but we have to grow skill sets and we have to grow into the person that has the things and does the things to get the things, right? So that's what my talk on Sunday is going to be, November the 5th, is adversity is not something to be avoided or something to wish isn't happening, but we've got to change our relationship with it in order to make it an asset and to move through it smoother and quicker and really tap into those things that are going to help us not quit.
Right.
So like I've had that experience. I didn't quit, but I never really quit in my mind. I may have physically quit and I may have removed myself from the industry for the adversity that came up, but that piece that was always there behind the scenes was the lesson, was like, man, every day for 4 or 5 years, it was, how do I get back into real estate? How do I get back into real estate? And for me, I took a massive leap, which I don't recommend for a lot of people. My journey to get back into real estate, I was selling airplane parts. How it worked, I left the industry. I went and sold cell phones for 3 years, was one of the top producers with the cell phone company. I went from they hired me on as an assistant manager and I'd ran cell phone companies. Like I was an area manager. I'd ran 10 locations all over St. Louis for another company. They brought me in as an assistant manager. Within 30 days, even before I was out of training, they promoted me to a manager and I worked for that company for 3 years. And I was one of the top producing managers where they kept promoting me and brought me in to do other things and bring other stores up. And what ultimately happened is I made a mistake. There was a lack in judgment at the time. My perception was there was some paperwork issues and I ended up, they were going to not give the commissions to my people at my store with a change. And I made a bad decision and I ended up getting fired. You can go into details. If you're at the event, you can ask me, I'll share.
Yeah. Come to the event and find out more. He's just teasing you.
Yeah. So, and at the time I was like, oh my God, this and that, I went into a depression. And then I started selling airplane parts in Granite City for small engine aircraft. And so I'd done that for 3 years and I made a commitment. And I said, at one point, I'm going to give you a 4-month notice. I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't know how it's going to play out, but by August of this year, I'm going to stop working here. And they said, okay. And a month before that, we were buying a new house. So I had already put my notice in and I was buying the house we're currently living in. Yeah, I take some risks. And about a month before that, I got notified by a guy that I had met years ago, and something in my gut said, "Hey, ask him about working together." So he was in the industry. He was a trainer for Kiyosaki, great guy in St. Louis. Palliser runs the 2-Day Blueprint. Jason Palliser, and I said, "Hey, what's it going to look like if we were to work together?" And he made me put skin in the game, made me pay him $1,000 to come and actually interview and work for him. And then I get that money back after my first 3 deals. Took me a little while to do that. and had a lot of conversations with God, hit a lot of adversity. Like I had conversations with the universe of like, I'm doing everything I can. What the hell's going on? Da, 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 da. And that was a big conversation I remember having in my front yard, like tears like streaming down my face, just despair. And I don't know if anybody else has been on the entrepreneurship journey before of bashing your head at like feeling you're bashing your head against a wall and ready to give up. And like that's adversity. And it strips away from you the things that aren't serving you for that next level. Well, that piece for me was like just acknowledging I was doing what I was doing. Literally 2 days later, I got a call on a Sunday morning from someone I had been talking to for a while. We actually thought we ruined the deal a couple months ago because we thought she had given us access to the house, but she didn't. And so somebody, you know, that we got called on, and she ended up calling us later, ended up making $42,000 as a wholesale down in Tower Grove, you know. So that adversity, it is a ally if you choose to look at it that way. And when you choose to look at it that way, you stop running from it, you stop doing the coping mechanisms that, you know, you're avoiding it. Like, man, nothing's easier when you're feeling adversity than just, you know, zoning out, playing video games, eating Cheetos, like you know, sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever you can do to avoid it. That's how the human condition is. And so changing that perspective and changing that relationship with it really for me like is one of the catalysts for transformation. So
Sure. Yeah. You do have to have a catalyst to transform. You got to have a reason to do it, for sure. For sure. Well, hey, that's awesome insight. It really is. It's, you know, it's awesome. And you give people a little peek into what you're going to be talking about at the conference as well. But let me ask you this: since you made that leap, since you came, let's just even narrow it down. Since you've come back, you know, to real estate investing, since you took the break, came back. What would you say? And I'm going to ask you a question that has two sides to it, right? I've got to ask. Anybody can throw out their highlight reel, right? Anybody can say, "Oh, here's my highlight reel. Look how awesome I am." But you got to be able to see the real person. That's why we do these. Is I wanted people to get to know our speakers. And then we're not just fluffing everything. We're not just throwing out there showing all this fluff. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe we should. Maybe we get people to say, "Oh man," but I want people to realize we have real people going to be there. So the question is, it was a long way to frame the question, but what would you say, since you've been a real estate investor, was your proudest moment?
Okay. Man, seeing, so one of my proudest moments, I would say, I'm real big on the coaching if you're not familiar with me, and yet, but one of my proudest moments is seeing the other people that I'm involved with, succeed in a way that they haven't succeeded before. Like our event, that's going to be one of my proudest moments. Like seeing you up on the stage, like living the dream, the vision that you had, you know, back in December. That's going to be one. Another one, I had a wholesale deal that I did with one of the guys that I was working with when we were kind of attached to that con man, and he had lost a significant amount of money in that experience. He'd been a rehabber for a long time, and last year he reached out to me and said, "Hey, help me run numbers on this. Like it's a house out in Baldwin, and I think I can make this amount, and these are the numbers." And I evaluated it with him, and it ended up being like his numbers were a little off in the rehab, but I also said, "Hey, based on the market and with, you know, Corona, COVID, everything," I said, "with what's going on," I said, "I think your numbers are a little conservative. And I think based on what you're telling me about the seller, I think you can offer less and they will take it and be happy about it." And so initially he was planning on going in at and again, his growth was I offer too much in order to get the deal, and then I don't make enough money on the back end. And so we had the conversation. I said, "You know, you're anticipating making like 15 grand on this rehab with what your numbers look like. I would go in and offer them 145 instead of 180. And based on what they have, like they're just looking to move it." And so we offered 145, and I think they came back at like 146. And it's like, oh, they countered $1,000. So obviously the number was solid. Sure. We ended up selling it wholesaling it, because this was new for him. He had never made any money without swinging a hammer. We ended up, I thought we could move it at like 175, maybe 180, which is where he originally was going to go in as a rehabber. I said his rehabber number, and what ended up happening is there ended up being a bidding war for it. We ended up selling it, I think, at 200, and we ended up splitting like 52 grand. And so he was able to make the most amount of money he's made on a deal without swinging a hammer. And he saved himself probably 6 months of rehab. He saved himself probably 6 months of labor. And just to open up like new eyes, that's some of the proudest moments I have. Another one, like when I helped sellers that really were stuck. I remember I had a wholesale we did. There was a hoarder situation in South City on Utah, and we had to go in through the basement. And as I went in through the basement, there was a lot of stuff in the basement, trash like piled up. And I went up the stairs to the upstairs, and where the floor ended up being, that's not where the stuff stopped. I ended up having to continue to climb to where I was actually having to lean over in the house. My back was touching the ceiling. Yeah, they ended up pulling the guys we sold it to. They ended up pulling the roof off. But this was a situation where, you know, the seller was a older woman, and she couldn't live in the house anymore. They had actually moved her out, and like she had people helping her, but it was a situation where we ended up getting her, you know, she thought she was only going to get like 30 grand. We ended up, you know, being able to give her, I think, like 50. So we gave her more money than she actually thought she was going to get. And, you know, she was able to sell the house. And it's situations like that I'm really proud of, making deals happen and just like serving people and realizing like that's fulfilling and you can make good money doing it.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you the flip side of that question, which, by the way, those are the reasons why people get into this business, right? Yeah. I mean, they really are. If your intentions are pure and they're legit, and it's not just, you know, get rich quick, which anybody that has been around for any while, they realize that's not what this is about. If you want to do it right, yeah, you can get in, make some money, get out. That's fine. But you can actually build something sustainable and to see that change and transformation and people hitting their goals. And that's amazing. But let me ask you this, and I'm going to ask you for just one, because, you know, it's fair. There's people there's people that wouldn't even want to share one. But what I'm asking for is, what would you say? And I use the word lesson learned, but I could easily say screw up, right? But I try to term it appropriately. What would you say was your biggest lesson learned as a real estate investor?
All right. Oh, man. Yeah.
Biggest. Yeah. Or the one that comes to mind first, whatever.
Yeah. I love when people ask, like, how do you know so much? And it's like, because I failed and I felt the pain a lot. Yeah. The biggest lesson learned, and one of the things why we're throwing this event is the biggest lesson learned for me is surround yourself with people that want to go to the same place that you want to go and operate the same way in their values, their authenticity, their we call it reciprocation. And for me, that's one of the biggest lessons, like that helped me move from like, what was it? The kind of like the chasing and I'm still like moving into our coaching company. Like that's some of the stuff I am working on in this arena now, as opposed to like I was doing it with sellers, learning how to create win-wins to where, and being authentic with the sellers, because wholesaling, there's a lot of people out there that'll tell you wholesaling, you know, hey, we're not going to tell the people like lock it up, beat them up. We're not going to tell them to do that. Like, we're not going to tell them that we're wholesaling it. We're going to, you know, tell them we're the buyer. And for me, when I'm hiding that, or when I'm not being fully transparent or authentic as much as I know I can be, for me, I was always afraid of getting found out, and that energy, people can feel it. Yeah. They say, you know, in the scale of power and force, emotions are a big factor in that. And they say like love is one of the highest emotions you can hold. And then they say authenticity. Now they're finding authenticity is actually like 400 to 4,000 times more powerful than that, because it's a love enough for yourself to be honest about what you're doing and where you're at.
Sure.
And so navigating how to be authentic with a seller and let them know, hey, Laura, my partner in our multifamily is great. We had this conversation this week about it, of like, make an offer. It doesn't have to be an offer to buy the property, but you can make an offer to help them sell it off market via wholesaling. And you can have that conversation in a way where it's not shady, it's not deceptive, it's not like that authenticity. Because here's what will happen on deals. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, Rich, but there are curveballs that happen before you get to the closing table.
What?
Right.
I've never heard of such a thing.
No, not at all. Because you never find a lien that wasn't reported on a title company,
Yeah.
two days before closing, something like that. So here's why authenticity and being authentic is super important to me, and it's a value. And it's how I kind of build my relationships and my anytime I'm doing deals or anything with people, I want to be authentic as much as I know I can be.
Right.
Because when those curveballs come up, I don't want to have to navigate a bunch of different truths I've been telling people to make the story work for us all to be on the same page to solve this problem.
Yeah.
What I can do is say, hey, I'm selling this property, or I'm selling this paper to someone else on the back end, and they are going to be the end buyer. We have to get this problem solved. So how do we work together to make it happen?
Yeah.
Same with the buyer. I am selling this, for the seller is this is what we've got going on. So I can more effectively, and I'm really good at kind of moving the chess pieces and those things, and strategy wise, it made my job so much easier to help people and influence people to have them do the things that you need them to do in order to get to the closing table, because everybody's on board from the beginning when everybody knows the full story. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense, because there's this saying out there that you don't have to remember the truth you tell. Right.
Yeah. If you're always telling the truth, if you're the same person to everybody you meet, and again, that's the ideal. It doesn't mean that's how it works. We all have those unconscious things that we like navigate, but like for me, that would be the biggest learning lesson, because I had multiple times where sellers were getting pissed because I was trying to close the deal, and I wasn't fully being that transparent. I was being that guy that was like, oh, just lock them up, tell them what they need to hear so you can get the dough. Yeah, I was that guy at one time, and it was very painful. And that's what adversity does. Like it will put you through the fire to get you to be the kind of person you want to be in the way you want to be that person. Yeah. And so that's for me, that was one of the biggest lessons, is learn how to be that authentic guy. And that will also help you understand who you're meant to work with and how they work with you.
Right.
So yeah, you attract different people that way. So
100%. Absolutely. So let me ask you this real quick. I know we're running out of time here, but I wanted to ask you, what would you say to people who are leaning on the fence? They're on the fence. They don't know if they should come. They've either been, I've heard both sides. They've been in the business 20 plus years. I know everybody. I know everything. I shouldn't come, or maybe I shouldn't come. Or somebody who's brand new is like, wow, there's a lot of things there. I'm a little, nervous, and I'm a little, wow. Anyway, they're they're just anyway. So they don't know if they should come or not, because they don't know if they know enough yet or something. What would you say to those people that are on the fence of what the benefits are to coming to a conference like this?
Yeah. So a couple different things there. So you said, I'll start with the people that don't know anything. This is going to be an event to help you get clarity on the path and what actually is going to excite you, and see how people that are doing it in our industry are doing it in a way that you would probably want to be a part of. So, people like Faster House, Core, David Dodge, Christina Aguilera, Bryson Duvall, like these are all people with a giving heart and are all about, and even the conversation I've had and our speakers, they're all about giving back. Like they are doing this, as a way because we understand the power of these events. We understand the power of giving back in a reciprocation manner. Because when we, so I went through the 12 steps at one time for adult children of alcoholics. And the 12th step is always you get to keep what you give away, pay it forward, basically. And so you're going to see a lot of people at this event that are going to want to help you understand more clearly your business so that you can get more clarity and you can move forward faster and be more successful. Because when other investors succeed, we all succeed. If you're doing it in a healthy, I use the word authentic, like reciprocated manner, which all of our speakers are.
Right.
So that's the other thing. And that fear of like, I don't know enough, it's normal and it's okay. But it doesn't mean you let that stop you. You can take action outside of that. And so, you still there, Rich?
Yep, I'm here. Did I freeze?
Yep. Yeah, a little bit. Okay. So that's for the people that think like, hey, I don't know enough. Like this event isn't for me. No, this event is going to be perfect for you. You're going to pick up something for your business that is going to move you forward. Either a piece of information, a relationship, a resource with some of our sponsors. There's a number of things that you will get value from. The second people, the guys that are 20 years in the business. So there's two things there. You said one, like, hey, I know everything and I don't need to come to these. Full honesty, those are the guys that I would recommend not coming to the event, because you're already in your mind, you are already established. I'm not going to learn anything from this event. So guess what's going to happen? You're not going to learn anything from this event, and you're going to step over the piece of information that could add another 6 figures into your bank account.
Right.
It's how it works. Now, those guys that have been in the business for 20 years and they don't have that mindset, or the women, come to the event and get a VIP ticket for access to all of these speakers that are doing things, and build relationships in the VIP world and with the speakers to facilitate better collaboration and deals in the future. You've got access to people and you're going to build relationships, because these people, like, there's a phrase, collaboration happens at the top, competition happens at the bottom, right? All of these people are interested in collaboration. We're all interested in strategic partnerships. We're all interested in creating something bigger than ourselves by helping leverage other people's strengths. Rich and I are a perfect example. Like, holding this event only happens because we both collaborated to make this work, and we are working effectively to make it happen, right? Same thing with bigger deals. 2 of the speakers on here helped me with my multifamily in order to make it happen. We reached out to them as kind of mentorship and guidance, and it ended up becoming a whole different thing. And they were compensated, reciprocation based, right? And so collaborations will happen. Like, there will be, and things will happen miraculously when you surround yourself with people like that.
Right.
I'm not saying it's the secret sauce, but it's one of the things that I know I hold dearly, and it's a value that I have. Like, your network is your net worth. Pay the money to get in the room and build those relationships.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. All right, and then one last thing, and I'll let you go, buddy. But to give people another peek into who Josh Wiesler is, outside of real estate investing and coaching, so outside of your professional life, what is your biggest passion?
Oh, man, outside of real estate investing and coaching, what is my biggest passion? That is a great question. So, personal development is what comes to mind first. My family, working to be a better father and husband. It's in the phases of growth. Like, you'll talk to people that seem one way, and when you talk to them, like, I'll be one of the first people to be honest. Rich, you asked, like, the authenticity piece. I'm not even close to the same person I was 10 years ago, 9 years ago, when I started my journey on personal development. It was very, and again, it's not perfect. It's an infinite game. But becoming a version of myself that I love more and more every day. And outside of that, like, finding ways to do the things. So, like, floating meditations is one thing I do, like, that I enjoy. Finding ways to love myself and be excited about life, if that makes sense. So, other than that, I'd say the Green Bay Packers. I'm a football fan. Like,
I'm sorry. No.
So you're sorry?
Yeah.
So I've been a Green Bay fan for like 20 years. So I played football in high school. Like, I like football. I love football as a passion. But yeah, man, really a lot of this is just real estate, building this business, and then my family is really my life. So
sure. Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I appreciate that. And I know, and then it's a lot of the answers have been just that family, whatever. The ones who have family will mention family, and I just wanted people again. I asked that question specifically to okay, we're talking business stuff, absolutely, but let's get to know you a little more. I mean, people can kind of get to know you a little bit as you're talking about, especially how did you get started in this or whatever. But I like wrapping it up to give us another sneak peek in who Josh Wiesler is. So I wanted people to know more about you or whatever, but. Everybody out there watching, thank you. Whether you're watching it live or in replay, I like to have a simulcast going on TikTok live right here, where all they do is see my face and I'm talking to you. They can probably hear you. It sounds like people can hear. But everybody out there, really appreciate your eyes on this video. Thank you for watching. And if you're interested, if you haven't gotten your tickets already, we have had a huge boom in sales this last 7 days specifically. So if you want to get out and get your ticket before they do sell out, you want to get out there to www.g2free.com. That's www.g2free.com. Grab your ticket. Use the coupon code JOSH, and you'll get $50 off your ticket, whether you buy a VIP ticket or a general admission ticket. You get $50 off that ticket. So use Josh, and it helps Josh in this little competition we're having them on our speakers too. So it boost Josh's sales numbers. So get out there, www.g2free.com. Use the coupon code Josh and get $50 off your ticket. And we will see all of you. Let's see. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Was that you putting it out there? Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. There it is. Yep. Absolutely. So everybody, thank you for watching. Josh, thanks for talking and spending some time with me this morning. I really appreciate it. I'm going to hop off here. And we got another one coming up at 10 o'clock. So if anybody out there is watching, you want to watch David Dodge at 10 o'clock, that's who we got coming up at 10 o'clock.
Awesome. Definitely watch him. He's amazing.
Awesome. Well, you are too, Josh, and I really appreciate your time. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Have a good day, man.
All right. You too, bud. See you.